Happy New Year. The first Sunday of Advent, we begin a new liturgical calendar year. And as you've heard the Gospel of Matthew, that's what we'll be reading over the course of the next year, most of the time. It's kind of interesting that for the first Sunday of Advent, the church gives us readings about the end of times, about Jesus' second coming and his return. For centuries, people have been fascinated with how and when this is going to happen. The early Christians thought that Jesus' coming was going to be imminent. And throughout the centuries, you've had all these doomsday sayers appear. Even in Sports Illustrated with that little section, the sign that the apocalypse is upon us. Remember when the year went 1999 to 2000, Y2K, everything was supposed to come to an end. The Mayan calendar had the world ending on December 21st, 2012. Thankfully, they were wrong. But I want to share with you, and I don't know if you ever heard of it, but I love church history, and there's a thing called the St. Malachy prophecies. St. Malachy was an Irish saint, the first Irish-born saint. He lived from 1094 to 1148. And there's a prophecies attributed to him. As a legend goes, he experienced a vision in which he was given insight into popes past, present, and future, and he recorded this vision as a series of cryptic verses. His predictions contained a list of 112 phrases, supposedly representing a list of 112 popes in succession. So he was going to name all the popes until the very end before Jesus came again. This prophecy was discovered in the year 1590, and it just so happens that all the popes leading up to 1590 were dead on accurate. The ones after have been a little bit more vague, but just to kind of share with you the last 6 popes on the list 107 through 112. Pope 107, as the prophecy goes, calls pastor and mariner. This supposedly was John the 23rd, who was the Patriarch of Venice, as you know, is a marine city. And while he was Pope, he was also known as Pastor of the World. The next Pope, 108 in line, has the cryptic code Flower of Flowers. And that would be Paul VI, who put on his coat of arms 3 lilies, which made the picture of a fleur-de-lis. It's kind of creepy, isn't it? This is the creepiest one. Pope 109 is known as the Pope of the Half Moon. That's John Paul I. His reign lasted 30 days, or from one half moon to the next half moon. Yeah. Pope 110 is known as the Pope of the Eclipse of the Sun, or from the labor of the sun. And that's John Paul II, who was born during a solar eclipse. And he's also, because of his devotion to Mary, he's associated with the intercession of the woman clothed with the sun, laboring in Revelation chapter 12. The next to last pope is known as the Glory of the Olive, and that was Benedict XVI. Benedict took the name Saint Benedict, who founded the order of Benedictines, who are also known as the Great Olivetans. The last pope on the list before Jesus comes again is supposed to be known as Peter the Roman. So when Francis became pope and took the name Francis, he basically threw the whole prophecy out the window. However, there are those who deeply believe in this prophecy. As I said, it's really a forgery, but who believe in this prophecy to the point that Francis, even though he's from Argentina, both his parents are immigrants from Italy. Therefore, he's Roman. But I want to share this one part with you. This is what it says about Peter the Roman. In the final persecution of the Holy Roman Church, there will reign Peter the Roman, who will feed his flock among many tribulations, after which the 7-hilled city will be destroyed, and the dreadful judge will judge the people. The end. Moral of the story is, if If you ever hear a next pope or any pope take the name Peter, it's time to go to confession. The season of Advent is a season in which we prepare ourselves. Christmas is a celebration of two things. It's the celebration of a promise fulfilled and a promise yet to be fulfilled. And that promise fulfilled is God promised to give the world a Messiah, and that's the birth of Jesus. And Jesus promised that he would come again, and we're still waiting for that. So the season of Advent is given to us for two reasons: to work on our patient waiting, and also to increase our joyful anticipation of the promise of salvation. Patient waiting refers to the fact, as Jesus says, to go about our daily lives, continuing to live our faith, continuing to seek ways to express our love for God and our love for neighbor through our words and through our actions. And we're called to be joyful and anticipators of the gift of salvation. And the way we go about that during the season of Advent is to spend more time in prayer, if we can, to spend a little bit more time with God than maybe perhaps that we have. Maybe it is going to confession. Maybe it's using our little blue book that we have out there and doing a daily meditation. Whatever it is, we do something a little bit extra during this season as a way of increasing our joyful anticipation for the promise of salvation that comes to us with Christ, and what it is that we are about to celebrate in the days ahead. There, I'm done. Let us stand together.